Hi friends, Jen here with Serenity Hill Farmstead. Today we are at the farm talking about this wonderful, beautiful plant that I love so much, Elecampane. Elecampane is a phenomenal respiratory herb. And I did not plant this, no. Last year I planted it down behind what is now the memory of our greenhouse / high tunnel. It has died a horrible death for another video. But I planted a big old patch of Elecampane there. I did a lot of Elecampane. Not a single one germinated. I thought it was my seed. And this year I have Elecampane growing randomly in many, many areas, and I'm really loving it. So here I've got 1, 2, 3 plants over here, all growing up from around this same area here. And then in a couple different herb beds, I also have several plants growing up too. So Elecampane is hardy from zones 3 to 9. So here in zone 5A in Northwest Illinois, this grows wonderfully. It gets 6+ feet tall, like 6 to 8. I've heard some people say that it can get up to 10 feet tall. I would imagine that would be a longer growing season that happens in. Here, it gets about 6 feet tall. And it produces these beautiful yellow flowers that look similar to a sunflower, but like more wiry looking petals. Now in this plant, what we are after is the root, and we are not harvesting this year. We are actually going to harvest it probably early winter next year. The reason we are waiting till winter to harvest this is because we want all of the wonderful medicinal properties, specifically the inulin that is in this plant, to go down and be dormant and be in the root. Otherwise, all the properties are in the leaves and everything is all spread out. And yes, you would absolutely get the properties if you harvested this now or in the fall, but it is the most concentrated when it is dormant. So we're gonna wait till we have a frost or two, not a super hard freeze, because I don't want to chisel solid frozen ground. That's not going to happen around here. So I'm going to wait until we've had a couple good frosts that this plant has decided, okay, we're done producing leaves, we're done producing flowers, we are going to go into dormancy and prepare for the next season, and that's when I'm going to harvest. So I'm going to let the first year roots, we're going to let them get nice and big, do their thing, and then at the end of next year is when we will harvest our Elecampane. And how we harvest these roots is really how I harvest most all my roots. Is I take my garden spade and I go out a little bit, because they kind of like octopus ouch. So they kind of go down a little bit, but then they do this. And all of the roots just kind of are going out and around the area. So I'm going to go probably a foot out away from the plant. And then I'm going to garden spade down and rock all the way around the plant, loosen the dirt, and pull up the roots that way. And I will take the crown and I will replant that somewhere else. I'm going to take all of the little octopi legs, all of the little fingerings that go out, and I'm going to take those off, and that'll be my harvest. And then the crown I will replant, and then that'll give us future Elecampane harvests. If you want more information on this, make sure to hit the link in my description box there. That'll take you to the website that has all sorts of information on Elecampane and couple of my favorite recipes and how we use this. One of them is a cough syrup. This makes a fabulous cough syrup. It is the best expectorant that I have ever personally used. There's lots of different herbs that are expectorants. For me and my body, Elecampane is the way to go. So I like to use it that way, and I use it in a tea also. I've got a tincture brewing. This will be my first experience with doing Elecampane tincture. When I'm making this as a tea, I actually make it as a decoction, and I mix it with the rest of my respiratory blend tea. And then I will add that Elecampane decoction, because it's a root, right? So we want to use decoctions for roots. And I will mix my infusion and my decoction together and drink my tea that way. When you're using any kind of respiratory herbs and you want to make an infusion or a decoction, again, it's just teas. If you're new to this, an infusion is your standard how you make a tea, and a decoction is how you make a tea, except you have to simmer the roots for 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the herb. And it's like a concentrated tea. And then you can mix those two things together, or you can just drink your decoction or just drink your infusion. It's all tea. But if you're going to be drinking a tea for a respiratory situation you have going on, you want to make sure you are drinking that hot. All of those types of respiratory herbs, they work the best when you drink them warm to get them working in the lungs. It does like rich soils. I dumped a whole bunch of compost here last year. I have done nothing to this year, and it's really thriving. It's really doing fantastic. I have not watered it once, and we are in bad drought conditions right now, and it's thriving. It's going on. It keeps growing and growing. Every time we come out here, it is bigger and bigger. So I'm excited to see how well this does and how big it gets this year. These and my other plants are all about the same size. You know, you've got these smaller ones, these smaller shoots here, but I'm excited to see how it does here. So if you are looking to add a good respiratory herb to your garden, I would highly recommend this. It doesn't have a big footprint, doesn't take up too much room, and it is super easy to care for. If you want more information on this wonderful herb and what it can do for you, don't forget to hit the link in the description box, and we'll see you in the next video.